right, Paul. What's up?
What? Waiting on you?
Now I'm waiting on you. We're back.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Don't be so excited. I was just going easing in,
Yeah.
just before we do the official open, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
I thought you were recording already.
We are. We are recording. People can see it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just thought I might want to say hello to you.
Yeah.
Seems like my phone's going in and out. The video doesn't look great. Thought you had fiber here. Jeez,
I don't know.
can't get anything right with you these days.
That's true.
All right, you ready to get started?
Sure.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're so glad to finally be back, bringing you another season, I guess you could say, of cash and tickets. That means that college football, NFL, is right around the corner. We got what, 2 weeks till week 0?
Yep.
Two
24th.
2 Saturdays from tomorrow.
I think it's the first one on Thursday night.
Oh my! All right, well.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad to be back. I hope you are. So we're not going to do. We'll probably start putting our picks in like we did last year, right before week 1. We may do some stuff week 0, I'm sure. So hopefully we'll be better about putting it out. And of course, I think we said this last year, but putting it out on social media somewhere. But we're actually talking to somebody we hope can help us out this time. An actual real intern.
Yeah.
Flesh and blood, somebody that actually exists.
Doing it for the love of social media.
That's right. We'll pay her in, I don't know, chips and salsa.
I mean, I'd do it for chips and sauce.
I would too. I love chips and salsa. All right. So anyway, welcome back to another edition of Cash and Tickets. We're so glad to be with you. I'm Franklin. That's Paul. The way we're going to do this, we're going to get started with some conference previews. And so the first one that we're going to do. Thanks, Paul. Do you want to show everybody your new cup that you're so proud of?
So proud of it. I got high hopes for the Steelers this year.
Did everybody see it? I don't think everybody saw it. You want to show the?
No, you'll see it again.
All right. So, like I said,
Got liquid courage in it.
before all the ice jingling got me there.
Need a straw.
We're going to get started with the Big 12. New look Big 12. Most of the conferences are new look this year. All of them. All of them. The Power 4 conferences, all new look with new teams coming in, some teams leaving. So we got the Big 12. As you know, Texas and Oklahoma are no longer a part of the Big 12 as they move on to the SEC. So that opens up the Big 12, and no, you may have a 9-3 conference winner this year. So how we're going to do this? We're going to walk down it alphabetically, and we're just going to discuss the win totals for these teams, where we think they're going to be, finish up, if we like any certain bets as far as the win total is concerned, or maybe some conference championship bets or some make the playoff bets. So our first team this year, we start with the Arizona State Sun Devils, coming off a 3-9 season headed into 2024. Paul, what do you got on the Sun Devils?
I think like 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 on the over/under for this year.
It's going to be a rough year. I mean, they get Mississippi State at home, which State should win that game. But other than that, I got them winning 2 games, so I'm going to go under the 4.5 win total.
Under the 4.5. Okay. Yeah, Kenny Dillingham's got a big, long rebuild there with the Sun Devils. And there's a lot of juice to pay if you want to take the under. But I do lean under if you're going to play it. What I would do, that thing's at 4.5. If you wanted to play the Sun Devils under, which I think is the way to go, you take that little line and move that sucker. Move it down to 4 or 3.5.
It depends on what book you're at too. I'm going by what Caesar had. So
yeah, no, I think most of them are at that. I just think the juice. I think when I looked at it, it was like minus 175 on the under. So if you move it to 4 or 3.5, you may get closer to even money. That's the one. I mean, you're looking at Jeff Sims, serviceable, I guess, but he's bounced around college football for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't see any improvement on that defensive side, and it's a tough schedule. They get Kansas, Utah, OK State, K-State, Central Florida, Arizona, just in conference. And like you mentioned, State in the non-con.
Yeah, I think you get 2 coaches fired mid-season in this year in the Big 12.
I don't think there's any way that they get over the 4.5.
No.
So we're both leaning to the under there with the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Here's something else we need to remember as we go through this. 7 different schools that have played in the Big 12 championship game in the last 4 years. So it's not like so straightforward as Alabama, Georgia. You know,
No.
it's a lot of parity, especially with the new transfer rules and all that. So
And then the two dominant schools in that conference for so long, Texas and Oklahoma, are gone.
yeah,
Um,
they're gonna be trying to get back in.
can we come back?
Man, they got that Texas total at 10.5. There ain't no way.
I don't believe that. Anyway, all right, so we'll move on to the Arizona Wildcats.
Okay. Throughout this conference, you probably got the best backfields in the country, basically, as far as quarterback, running back, wide receiver. The problem I have with Arizona is they got a new coach comes in from San Jose State. Talent's there. They're young, really good. I don't know. The 7.5 total is a no play for me because there's so many teams in this league that could go. I mean, at 7-5. I mean, either way. I mean, it could be 2 or 3 points. I'm gonna try to say this guy's name. Probably gonna butcher it. You know what I'm talking about?
Noah Fafita,
No,
the quarterback.
I got Noah Fafita. He returns for his sophomore campaign. Tatora McMillan
Okay.
returns off a 1,400-yard season. Probably the best wideout in the country, for sure. The league.
Yeah. This is the number one QB wide receiver combo in the Big 12 to me.
I don't know if Brennan can come in first year and keep it rolling like it was with Jed. What's his name? Fish.
Jed Fish.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that's keeping me off this total and off them to win it outright. But for talent wise and for if you're gonna buy a ticket to a game, this is for sure one I would want to go to.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and actually when I did this, I think I totally forgot that they lost their head coach. I didn't even factor that into the equation. Mostly because I like the players there, and Noah Fafita is that dude. I mean, he's really good. But what they did last year in the back half of that schedule and going 10-3, probably obviously had a lot to do with the head coach. And now he's gone. New guy comes in. What's going to change? What's going to stay the same? Said Fafita and the wide receiver that you mentioned. I mean, obviously they're going to do their thing. The only if you wanted to take the under, I'll give you the reason here is because it looks like they're going to start 2-2 because New Mexico and Northern Arizona, they should have no problem there. But then they go to K-State, they go to Utah. That's a tough beginning, and if you're sitting at 2-2, that could kill your confidence early. But the back half of their schedule is easy. Yeah. They don't have a tough road game after Utah. They go to BYU, who I think is going to be bad. Their toughest road game may be going to UCF in November. They get West Virginia at home. Is the only other decent team I see on that back half of that schedule. So I'm leaning to the over here. It's a slight lean. So if I'm going to the win of the bet Arizona, I'm going to take the over 7.5 for me.
Okay.
And that's literally because of the way the schedule sets up. Their toughest games are at the beginning.
Right.
They get through them. They got some time to rebound. And I could see a 9-3 season for the Arizona Wildcats, and that's an easy cover.
Yeah. I'm not going to touch it.
I'm not running to the window to bet it, but
it's just, I got them at 7-5, so.
And that's the under. Yeah, I mean, so that number's right on there. The next team we got alphabetically is the BYU Cougars. I'll start here, Paul.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I have Baylor.
You have Baylor. I got Baylor. Why do I have that backwards? Because I guess the way ESPN did it, because
I spell better than you.
I don't know why. I guess I thought I went.
Go ahead,
right
BYU.
down there. Well, we can go back to Baylor if you want.
I just thought it'd
You're
I would
right.
take my shot at you.
You did. You got me. Maybe I just screwed up there.
Imagine that.
Look, the chat's actually working. A boy got in the chat there.
Oh, nice.
just gonna give him a quick heads up, letting him know that we hear him and we appreciate it. That's the birthday boy. Should we mention how old he just turned?
I think the whole town knows.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you checking in on us.
All right, so Baylor, you want to go?
So we are going Baylor?
Yeah.
Okay, Baylor. Yeah, I'll start there. Baylor's coming off a 3-9 season. I think Dave Aranda is probably top 2 or 3 coaches on the hot seat in the country this year. I always loved him as a DC. I just don't think he makes a good head coach. Was kind of on that train when they hired him, along with the Oklahoma coach Brent Venables. I don't know if either one of them is gonna do big things at their school. So I'm off the Baylor Bears. I only see 5 games on their schedule that they may be favored in. I'm not sure that they would even be favored in 5 games. And this over/under set at 5.5.
Yeah, that's right where it should be.
And I don't know that they get 3 wins this year. This is a ticket I will be putting in because I think I get the under here easily. And if at 5.5, I got no problem moving that line to 4 and getting plus money for the Baylor Bears to go under 4 games this year. And obviously it's set at 5.5, but yeah, I'm comfortably on the under here because I just don't think they got. I don't think they have anything talent-wise there to go get 6 wins.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is a great defensive coach. He spent too much time in the offensive playbook last year, it sounds like. Defense was terrible. Offense was terrible last year. They bring in Jake Spavital, who coached at Texas State, to run the air raid, so they'll be slinging it around again. Brought in Daquan Finn from Toledo, went 10-3 last year.
I do like Finn.
He was pretty good. Didn't really like blow up the stat sheet per se, but he can get out there and get it done. I just don't know. 5.5 seems right. I'm like you under maybe, but I'm not gonna bet it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them starting 1-3. They'll beat Tarleton State.
Yeah.
But then they're at Utah.
No.
Air Force comes to town. You're just gonna book a win against Air Force? Then you get Colorado early. I'm not a big believer in the bus, but that's early. That's week 4. Yeah. Colorado could still be healthy at that time, and it's at Colorado.
Yeah.
BYU, goodness gracious, now we're just butting heads with 2 bad teams, and they go to Iowa State, to Texas Tech. I just see a brutal start for them, and then that culture blows up, and then it's all over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm comfortably on the under here with the Baylor Bears. Probably be one of my Big 12 tickets, future bets, going under the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So now can we do BYU?
Yeah, I'm excited.
You've been waiting on it all day.
Eagerly.
Yeah, I got it. All right, what we got with the BYU Cougars?
Got a whole 2 sentences over here.
Boy, you really did your work on BYU, didn't you?
Ain't a whole lot to look at. I mean, I don't know. I like to call them affectionately the Storming Mormons. But
Yeah,
they haven't
been storming.
They haven't done much storming lately. I don't know. They need to go get old Brock Mendenhall back, I guess. I got them winning 2 games, Wyoming and Southern Illinois. Other than that, is I think I can't say the guy's name, but this is one of the coaches that doesn't
Kalani
make it.
Sataki.
Yeah, he doesn't make it through the year, and then the guy Dillingham from Arizona State. Neither one of them coaches make it through the year, I don't think.
Yeah, this is another one, probably be one of my other tickets here, and it's also another under. I think this thing gets ugly quick. It snowballs on BYU, and it's downhill. This schedule, you talking about a rough schedule. This thing does them no favors.
Yeah.
So they say, all right, we'll start off with Southern Illinois. Cool. Let's see if we can get that win, right?
Yeah.
At SMU, at Wyoming, home against K-State,
Not good.
at Baylor, then Arizona, Oklahoma State, Central Florida, Utah, Kansas. 5 teams right there in a row that all of them have aspirations of winning the Big 12.
Right.
Yeah, 4.5 on BYU. I'm thinking more 2-10,
Yeah.
3-9 at best. Yeah, another under here that I would go get. I'm comfortably on the under with the BYU Cougars, and I think you're right. I don't think Sataki gets another season in Provo.
No, I think they get 2 wins, so I'd go bet that under. I don't know what the juice is on that, but
If it's 4.5, you feel comfortable moving it to
hell
3.5.
Yeah, if it's 4.5 for sure, go get it. If it's 3.5, I'd still go get it.
Well, I'm saying if it's 4.5, you think moving it to 3.5 and see if you can get even money or plus money on the
Yeah,
under?
if you have that, yeah.
I think you can move the over unders, right? You can go get the alt line.
On this, I don't know.
I think it's possible. If it is, I know at some books you can, but if you can at your book, wherever you are out there betting, I would think about moving Baylor and BYU.
Yeah,
All right, can we go to Cincinnati now? Is that next up for you,
yeah
or you want to swap and do it backwards and go to Colorado?
that's who my team of experts have next.
Your team of experts. So you must have a better alphabet team than I do.
Yeah, we're a smart group.
Well, I'm having trouble finding them over here.
Mm.
Um,
All right,
where are you at on Cincinnati?
5.5. I'm going under. I got them at 4 wins. I probably won't bet this, but here's the thing: Scott Satterfield is like the darling of small school coaching. He was great at Appalachian State. He could win any game. He might not win them all, but you one game, you want him coaching you. But since he's been in the Power Five, he's 28-33.
That's not great.
That's not good. That's good in baseball,
Yeah.
not coaching football. And that's 5 years, after 3 straight titles at Appalachian State and the Sun Belt. So I think the new and the shine is wearing off him. He jumped ship already one time. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they get to 5.5. I know they won't win 6. So I like the under here.
Yeah, so 2023 was pretty bad for Satterfield and the Bearcats going 3-9. They got a kid named I can't remember his first. Sorsby comes in from Indiana to take
Yeah.
over QB, and I think he'll be an upgrade. They do get a big time defensive tackle, which he was already on their team, but he had some blood clot issues last year, and he's coming back, and he's one of the top 15 D tackles in the country. So that's a big boost for their defensive line. The schedule is not tough. Their entire O line is back. I hear what you're saying with Satterfield. I think maybe he gets it turned around here, and I'm not talking about competing for Big 12 title appearance or anything like that. But I do like the experience on the O line coming back. A new quarterback. Satterfield has a track record of getting it done. I understand prior to moving to Power Five, but I think they've got some home games that are winnable. So I'll slightly lean to the over here. I think they can get to 6 wins.
I think they go bowling. I mean, they went to Iowa State and got part of their defensive coaching tree, which is pretty sound.
Yeah.
So maybe he makes a difference. I just don't see. I mean, they won 1 game in the conference last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, somebody, in every
who?
conference, every year, there's going to be a team that you like that's going to go bad. There's going to be a bad team that does well, jumps up and does better than you expect. And I'm not saying 7 wins or 8 wins. So this 5.5 to me is like right on it. And I think they get to 6 because I think they can beat Houston. I think they can beat Towson. At Miami, Ohio is going to be tough. They're a really, really good MAC team, I believe.
They're not beating Houston.
But yeah, I don't think Houston. I think they beat Houston.
I think they do.
Yeah. They get Colorado late. Colorado could be very injured by that time. They can beat Arizona State. And then they get TCU at home. So I think it's there for them to get 6. But so we'll see.
Alrighty.
All right. Now, talk about the darlings of the media.
I'm so sick of this shit.
Do you think that pass was complete, or you think that was the same play, or do you think that everybody trolling them is right here, the Colorado Buffaloes?
Yeah, 5.5 under. As soon as this line came out, I went and took the under. I've already bet it. I'm probably going to bet it again. And if this thing goes up, great. I mean, this is one of those. I mean, you got great players, Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter, but he did the same thing he did last year. He just went out there and bought talent. The O line's got to they got to address that, and you can't do that in a year. I don't care how great a coach you are. You know how much you got to dumb down the
Yeah,
terminology and all that, just to
yeah.
get 5 new dudes in there, and I just don't see how how it works the way he's trying to do it. Which I'm 100% just a dude drinking doing a podcast, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know who they beat. I mean, they may not win the first game.
Yeah, North Dakota State's not what they used to be, but they're still a very formidable
They're going to be
FCS
well
team.
coached.
Yeah, I'm with you on everything here. Like again, I love Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter, but that's 2 players out of 22 that's got to take the field during the day. Same thing as last year. Probably start off hot, maybe, and then how long can they stay healthy?
And I mean, they're not. I mean, that O line was awful.
Well, none of them are back. It's 5 new guys. They got rid of all of them,
Yeah.
and they're putting they got a 5-star left tackle freshman.
Yeah.
But you want to throw a freshman out there to protect Shador Sanders?
you
Does that
know,
give you the warm and fuzzies?
That's not a lot of time for 5 guys to gel together to get it done. I mean, good luck to them. But I'm on the under, and I'm going to keep taking under. And if the thing goes to 6, I'm going to get some more of it.
Yeah, part of the stuff I've heard is that the transfers they got in this year are earlier. They were actually here for the spring, whereas last year they weren't. And I said, okay, but when you have that much turnover, and your entire offensive line is new, nobody ever says that's a good thing. Anytime you talk about a team you think is going to take a jump, it's because, hey, their O-line returns, and it wasn't bad last year. And now they're more experienced, and they're all coming back, and they work together well. 5 brand new dudes with a freshman.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, I'm with you. Running straight to the ticket counter and getting the Colorado Buffaloes under 5.5. Yep. Where's Dion gonna be coaching next year?
I don't know. BYU. How would he go with the Storm and Mormon?
It's because the son's gonna go in the draft. So is he going to stick around and keep coaching the lowly Colorado Buffaloes?
No, they don't win but like 3 games this year. All that's going to wear off pretty soon.
All right,
go ahead.
Oh, I think I jumped. No. Did I?
Houston.
Yeah, no, Houston. That's right. The Houston Cougars. 2 Cougars in this conference. Paul.
Yeah.
BYU and Houston.
Houston.
You want to change it? Maybe if they change their name,
I would go buy a jersey.
You think you would?
No. All right. Houston total is 4. Good luck to you, sir, Mr. Willie Fritz. You did well at Tulane. I think that was awesome. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who they gonna beat?
Nobody.
It's 4.
I don't know.
4 wins.
I got it at 3.5. But if it's 4, I'd like that even better.
Do they beat Rice? They may. That's going to be like.
They may not beat Rice.
That's a rivalry game for them.
UNLV was decent last year. I know they get a different coach, right? UNLV lost their coach. Maybe
they'll beat BYU. Sure, should.
I don't. That would be a rock fight, and that's the end. Which team is going to give a shit at the last game of the season?
Well, if BYU fires their coach, they may rally.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They could lose to BYU there. Could you lose to Baylor? Those last 2 games, you talk about 3 teams that won't give a shit, in my opinion. Houston, Baylor, and BYU, and they play each other the last 2 games of the season.
Jesus.
There could be a whole lot of quit going on between those 3 programs.
Yeah, I would take the under here. I don't think I mean, they're going to be closer to 0 than they are 4.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for Willie Fritz to leave Tulane. He finally leaves, and he lands at Houston with a mighty rebuild. I never understood it. I don't know why he went there. There had to be better programs he could go to. Wouldn't you think?
I think his age got a little bit to do with it.
Well, why not stay at Tulane?
They got a great quarterback. He's just been hurt. Like, he's coming off an injury, so I don't know what you do. I mean.
Well, and then like we've said with every other quarterback that's been injured, can he stay healthy? Yeah. I mean, I think they're unsettled. They're all sophomores and freshmen. The roster's weak. I mean, I like Willie Fritz, and I think he's a really good coach, but I don't think he can coach them up that much. I don't see him making a 2 or 3, 4 game difference.
No, I don't know. He's in a good spot for recruiting, but other than that, this year that's not going to help him any.
And the schedule does him no favors. He gets Kansas, Utah, K-State, Arizona back to back to back to back.
How hard they hit the transfer portal?
Uh,
And
I
I'm
don't
still
know. I
not
don't
a
know if they
huge.
had that much time.
I'm still not a huge proponent of that. Well, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got a bunch of defensive guys. Uh, Other than that, though, they don't. The offense is pretty much the same.
You got to score points.
I don't.
Some.
I don't. I think he'll be okay. But I just don't think he can do it in year one.
No, not at all. Like I said, in this schedule, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a 6-game stretch there where they play Iowa State, TCU, Kansas, Utah, K-State, and Arizona.
Yeah.
That's murder. That's tough. I mean, for the Big 12, that's tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely lean to the under here with Houston. I don't think it's going to be one that I bet. You never know. May see some Willie Fritz magic, but I don't. I see them maxing out. I see a 3-9 season
Yep.
for the Cougars coming. All right, we're in the eyes now, Paul.
The eyes have it.
Iowa State Cyclones are next up. Look, they got Rocco Beck coming back.
They can sling it.
He had a big, strong 2023 season for the Cyclones as they rebounded after kind of a rough start. They ended up 7-6. Of course, that was their sixth loss was a bowl game, so they went 7-5 last year in the regular season. Had some close losses too, outside of Texas and OU. And I looked at their 2023 schedule. 3 of the 5 losses were by 7 points or less, so they were in a bunch of games. They do get 3 of the best teams in the Big 12 though, in Kansas, K-State, and Utah on that schedule, and they play Iowa in the non-con. And I think it's at Iowa. So
That's early in the year too.
Yeah, it's the second game of the season. They travel to Iowa, and who knows? Maybe Iowa's going to be better on offense. What do you think?
Yeah. They can't be much. I mean, I don't know how you get worse.
And they travel to West Virginia. I see 6 games that they should win, and then you've got to go. You got to go 2-4 in the rest to get to 8 wins.
I think they get there.
This is a team that I thought was good last year, and I do like Rocco Beck, but I see a 7-5 season, and the over-unders is 7.5. So I lean slightly to the over, but it's a no. I mean under, but it's a no bet for me because I see a 7-5 season that would hit, but they could, upset somebody somewhere and get that 8th win, and then I'd lose the ticket. So I lean under, but it could go. It's a coin flip for me for the Cyclones.
I'm gonna take the over here. I think they get to 9. They get every
9.
Yeah, they get every starter back almost on offense and defense. This is year 9 for Matt Campbell. About every third year or so, Matt Campbell's team is really, really good. They're gonna play good defensive football. They got Rocco Beck on the other side to help on that. Get the points on the board. I don't know. Their ceiling to me is higher. Than all these teams trying to redo like Colorado. I mean, it's just it seems to work better. I mean, they're going to beat North Dakota at Iowa. Who knows? It's going to be what 10-7.
Probably.
They'll beat Arkansas State, beat Houston, beat Baylor. At West Virginia is going to be tough. So that's one. Central Florida is going to be tough, but that's at home.
At home.
Texas Tech, yeesh. So I think they beat one of the 2 of those, Texas Tech or UCF. Cincinnati win, and I think they beat either Utah or Kansas State.
Oh, okay. They get one of them.
Yep.
All right.
I got them at 9 and 3, 4.
9-3. It'd be a big year for the Cyclones.
There's my eyes.
I'd probably put them in the Big 12 championship game.
Yes, sir. But
is that a bet you want to make?
I've been on one of these teams to make the playoff.
Oh, that's right.
But little did I know what we're about to talk about here in a little bit.
All right. So let's go to my Kansas Jayhawks. Everybody now on board after they had like a 3-9, 4-8 season, and your boy right here the next year said, I'm taking the over. It was 4.5. I said, book it. They'll win 7 games. I think they went 7-5 or 6-6. Easy cover. Jalen Daniels is a really good quarterback. How long can he stay healthy, Paul?
I don't know. There's a whole lot of problems, and I went and bet this because I'm kind of like you. You know, like I bet on them to make the damn playoff.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that they're working on their stadium. They play
Mm-hmm.
their 6 home games. They don't play traditional at home.
No.
They play one game at Arrowhead Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think they're playing all their conference games at Arrowhead. All their home conference games are at Arrowhead, and their non-con home games are at a soccer field there at their campus
and
or somewhere around their campus.
here's what really just turned me off. They lost their offensive coordinator. He bolts, goes to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
You know who they hired? The guy from Baylor. That guy's awful.
Maybe they just thought he didn't have talent to work with.
So I've got what I consider a dead ticket, but you never know. I don't know. With all that said, I liked the over initially, but now that all that's going on, I don't think they're going to get there.
Yeah, Kansas coming off a 9-4 season last year, got a bowl win. Their over under this year is 8.5, and really the key thing here is how long does Jalen Daniels stay healthy? When you're talking about a back, you just never know. They lost some draft picks on the defensive side of the football, and there's some depth issues on the O-line. I'm a big believer in Daniels and the head coach Lance Leipold, though. They've had a great run even when Daniels was hurt last year, but they don't have the backup Bean if Daniels goes down. I don't know who they got behind him that's going to be any good. If you want to make a bet here, I think you do what Paul did, and you go get you 8-1 to make the playoffs. Maybe it's probably 6-1 to make the Big 12 championship game. Probably somewhere there, 5-6-1.
I should have brought all my tickets in here. So I have them.
Of course, they still have Devin Neal to run the rock in the backfield.
Yeah, he's gonna be good.
So if Daniels and Neal stay healthy, the schedule is not bad. They miss Utah. Their toughest road game is at K-State.
That's got to affect them, though, not playing at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it will. But, I mean, has Kansas ever had a really – think about it. They ever had like a true home field advantage?
Yeah, I know, but I guess, still, though, they wake up. They're right there. They don't have to – I don't know. I was on them. Like I said, I've already bought in, and then I learned I didn't do my due diligence like I should have, which whatever.
Yeah, I mean, to me, their two toughest road games is going to West Virginia simply because of the travel.
Yeah.
And then at K-State, it's going to be really tough. But, I mean, in-state,
I'm glad I got the ticket because I've been wrong on them before, but I don't have any evidence to back up the ticket.
Yeah. I mean, if you go down all they got to do is get in the championship game, though, and I think they can. I like your ticket because they're going to beat Lindenwood. They'll probably beat Illinois, even though it's at Illinois. They'll handle UNLV. They start 3-0. At West Virginia is probably a toss-up. They'll beat TCU at home. They'll beat Arizona State on the road. They'll beat Houston. So in that's your first 7 games. At worst, they're 5-2.
Yeah, they end with BYU, Colorado, and Baylor.
And I think they'll start 6-1. Yeah. And then you have K-State and Iowa State be 2 tough games, and then you end with BYU, Colorado, and Baylor. Yeah. I mean, I see an easy 9-3, and you're only.
I mean, that's what I have them at, but I didn't know all this other crap was going on. So, anyways.
And your 3 toughest conference games are literally West Virginia, K-State, and Iowa State.
Yeah.
If they go 2-3 out of that slate, they're in the conference championship game, most likely. So I don't hate your ticket. I think you're still good. But again, it all depends on Jalen Daniels back and how healthy he stays. Yeah. All right, one of the perennial favorites here.
Oh, wait, I had another stat. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Number of years since Kansas won the conference title, 1968, been 56 years since they won a conference title.
So just getting there will be a big deal.
Yeah, so anyways, little nugget for you.
All right, a team that's always a pain in everyone's ass in the Big 12. So they're always there. And they just keep getting it done out there, man. Kansas That's the Kansas State Wildcats.
I got a no play here. I think that quarterback they got, sophomore, everybody loves the kid. Uh, he's got the mullet flowing out the back of his helmet. And, I mean, they got two great running backs. They brought in Dylan Edwards from Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
and DJ Gideons comes back from last year. They're always going to be good on defense. I don't know how you bet against this team. I wouldn't. I mean, if you want to go get you a ticket on them to win the Big 12, I would completely understand. You probably get about 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't hate nothing about this team, but I don't. If the win total is 9,
9.5.
9.5, that's a hard bet to make.
Yeah, because so you got to go if you're betting on 10-2, which is what you'd be doing if you go over here. You got to beat Arizona. You got to go 2-2 in these 4 games: Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Iowa State. They'll win all the other games.
Yeah.
I mean, at Tulane can be feisty, but I don't think they lose at Tulane.
Who'd they get? John Summerall?
Yeah, Tulane did.
Summerall,
Yeah.
whatever his name is.
John Summerall. That's right. Replaced Willie Fritz. I mean, the rest of their schedule is pretty simple. They miss Utah. Thank you.
I mean, they could go undefeated.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they get Arizona at home. They get Oklahoma State at home. They get Kansas at home. So that 3 of their toughest 4 games that I just mentioned are at home. The only one on the road is at Iowa State at the end of the year.
Wonder what their odds are to make the playoff.
But I definitely have. I'd look at Kansas State in 2 ways: either to win the Big 12, or
You get plus 350 to win the Big 12. I would make that bet.
that's not bad. And then to make the playoffs. Of course, if they win the Big 12, they're going to the playoffs.
And to make the playoff, let's see if we can find them real quick. I know we're pressed for time. Are we?
We're never pressed for time, Paul.
Hell, you get. That is odd. You get plus 250, they make the playoff, but you get better odds, they win the championship. Is there a chance they make the game and still make it in?
I don't think Big 12 gets more than just the champion. Do you?
I don't know. Plus 250 is a low number for them to make the.
Yeah, I wouldn't
playoffs.
make that bet. I mean, you get better odds for them just to win the conference championship.
Yeah, I would make that bet.
Yeah, their schedule sets up pretty easily for the Wildcats here. They got a big favor from the schedule gods, and that was the only. I'd love to go out and get somebody else better odds.
Yep.
But with this schedule, it's tough to bet against the Wildcats here. Now, I'm not going to play this over under. I'm not going to bet on to go 10-2. If I'm making a bet, it's to win the Big 12. Like I said, you get plus 350 there.
Okay, yeah. I'm just not gonna. Yeah, that's the bet to make on them.
Where would you lean though if you had to put something over?
9.5 over. I think there's a good chance they go undefeated.
Yeah, that's sitting right there for them. One of the teams they got to play, and they get them at home. Good team there in the Big 12. Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Like to go riding with that guy.
Yeah, listen. Hey, Mike Gundy, you want to hang out? Come sit with us for a little while.
Yeah. I don't know. Total's 8. That's another team that could go out there and win 10. I mean, he's a good coach. Ollie Gordon comes back. I don't know how focused he's going to be after the all-season shenanigans he was doing. Apparently, he was living his best life.
Yeah.
In games last year, decided by 8 points or less. They won 5 of the 6. So that's a good, pretty lucky year to win those close games like that. So that's a big difference, swing in as far as the win-loss total goes.
Yeah.
They last won the Big 12 title in 2011. They could tend to get there. I like Kansas State better than I like Oklahoma State. But I can see them getting to 10 wins.
Another team that got a schedule favor here. I could easily see them winning their last 7 games of the season. West Virginia, BYU, Baylor, Arizona State, TCU, Texas Tech, Colorado. You see a loss there?
Mm-hmm.
They'll be favored in all 7 games. Their only tough stretch, obviously, is their 4th and 5th game. They get Utah at home, and then they got to go to K-State.
You get Oklahoma State 7.5 to 1 to win the Big 12, and then plus 350 to make the playoff.
That's pretty good. I just think you got to split that Utah K-State game to get in the Big 12 title game, and I don't know if they're to the level of Utah and K-State. I love Ollie Gordon, obviously. I just don't like the quarterback. Alan Bowman had 14 picks last year,
Nah, he's not very good.
so he's not a difference maker at the QB position, and that scares me.
My ice bothering you?
No, it's good. I love Mike Gundy though.
Yeah.
And even if let's say they start 3-2, say they win the first three, they drop the Utah game, they drop the K-State game, they can run the table the rest of the way.
Yeah. He's like one of those coaches you want to play for, but you don't like him because he's probably going to cuss your coach out. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I do like the Cowboys. I think I would go over the 8. I would lean over here on the Cowboys
Yeah,
at
no,
8.5.
can
I
see
see them
it.
getting a 9 easy,
yeah, they can get to 10.
and then 10 comfortably over.
Yeah, I don't think they beat Kansas State at Kansas State. And then they're going to drop one more game somewhere. I don't know. I
Have
mean,
a blip.
you'll know when South Dakota State lines up. South Dakota State is not. Those are good football teams. They just don't have the depth and talent that these bigger schools do. But if they wake up late,
I do like the
they-
Jackrabbits.
they can be down. They'll be down 21-0.
Yeah, I love the Cowboys.
That Arkansas game, their first two games, you'll know pretty quick where your money, whether or not you're probably going to hit it.
I think if I'm making Big 12 conference win bets, the two teams I'm looking at are OK State and Kansas, simply because of the odds.
Yep.
You're not going to get great odds on K State or Utah. And if you can still get 5-6 to 1 on Oklahoma State, or 7 or 8 to 1 on the Kansas Jayhawks, I love either one of those bets. But yeah, I would go over here with the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I'm on. There's the only
Unless
team-
Ollie Gordon goes down in the second week of the season, then it's over.
Yeah, who knows? All right,
Okay,
where we at?
the TCU Horned Frogs.
Oh boy, boy.
This is where we get into some teams that I just
everything's 7.5.
yeah, all of them.
and it's a chance TCU wins 7.5 games. Exactly.
I mean, there's a chance anybody
Yeah.
wins 7.5
I mean,
games.
what do you do? I mean, I don't know. They're not. Did he inherit that team that he took to the title? Because they lost in the championship game and still went.
Yeah, I mean, they got murdered by Georgia, but they were there.
No.
I don't know. I mean, we're a long way from that team that went to the championship.
I don't know. I don't know anybody on the team. They're relying on Vanderbilt transfers to save the quarterback room. I don't like them.
I don't see any good play from the quarterback position for the Horned Frogs. I like Sonny Dykes, but we've seen him collapse before. I mean,
They got a new defensive coordinator.
they got some tough road games. They got 2 Power 5 road non-con games. Now, you could probably say at Stanford, does that really count?
No.
But I mean, they're in the ACC though, and then they go to Smoon.
I'm not letting this team burn. They burnt me in week 1 last year against Colorado. I'm not letting
Oh
them do
my
it to
God,
me again.
they got me too.
I don't even think they exist.
I see 6 games on the schedule that look like losses to me, so I'm pretty comfortably on the under with the TCU Horned Frogs with this thing set at 7.5.
If you're gonna bet the under, because they could go out there and drop Stanford.
Yeah, I don't see them getting to 7 wins, much less 8. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortably on the under here with the TCU Horned Frogs, and I don't know what much more we could say about them. It's just it's pretty bad.
I'm still mad at them from last year.
That first game last year. Well, we were all over that one. Well,
Man,
TCU's gonna put it on Colorado.
No way. And here I am again talking shit about Colorado. Yeah, isn't that fun?
Look, if you're gonna play Colorado, play them in the first 3 weeks of the season
Yeah.
when they're healthy.
Before they get hurt and the locker room implodes.
Yeah, and everybody quits because they're ready to go off to the NFL or another team. All right.
Yeah, Lemick wins gold. All right.
Well, congratulations.
Way to go.
All right, we'll stay in the state of Texas. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, coming off a 7-6 season last year that I thought was kind of a surprise. I didn't know that Tech was going to be be very good, but they did well. 7-5 regular season, won their bowl game. I mean, and lost their bowl game there. So, what do you think about Joey
I
McGuire's
think he's
squad?
better than I thought he was going to be. Taj Brooks could be the best running back in the league, I guess. I mean, but there's so much talent in this league, especially out the backfield. 1,500 yards on the ground last year. I don't know. Maybe Joey McGuire's better than I thought he was. Let's see. They go 7.5 win total. That's okay. So they beat Abilene Christian. They beat Washington State. They beat North Texas. Beat Arizona State. Beat Cincinnati.
Now they're 5-9. Say the damn
Shit.
schedule starts off, and say they dropped Arizona, right? 5-1. Then
Yeah.
they get Baylor.
They can beat
6-1. They could be 6-1 right
they
out
can
the
beat
gate.
they can beat TCU.
Yeah,
They'll lose to Iowa State.
yeah. And then they get Colorado late,
They'll beat Colorado,
lose to Oklahoma State,
and then probably lose to West Virginia.
but they get West Virginia at home.
So that's a toss up. So one.
I got them starting 6-1, best case scenario.
Yeah, I got them 8-4 or 5-4 in the Big 12.
Yeah, and then you need 2 games. You got to get 2 games to hit the over here.
Yep.
I lean slightly to the over, and this is all schedule related because man, they come out hot, and then you know what happens when you start winning. Confidence starts to build, and then here we go.
Yeah, they'll be probably 16th in the country.
Oh
by
yeah,
October
just
1.
feeling great out
Yeah.
there. I will make this prediction.
Okay.
How about this? So they got the kid Morton over there, played QB there. But they brought in a kid from Georgia. His name's Cameron Brown. Very athletic. Can do a lot. If Morton's not lighting it up, and I think Brown's going to have some packages. And if he does well, I think there could be a midseason QB change regardless of injury.
Mm.
But and not that it'd be a bad thing. They just said, look, the kid can get it done, and we roll with him, see what happens. So I think there may be a QB change there, but it doesn't change my opinion that because of this schedule, I would take the over here with the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
So y'all, everybody watch out when they're 3-4 to start the season. Don't scream at us.
Yeah, we're used to it. Don't worry about it. Just scream.
When they lose at Washington State, they drop a home game to North Texas.
Well, that's the one thing about this. If you do listen to this podcast and you go bet something we're talking about, just know for sure that we did bet on it also. You're not going to be the only one upset about it.
You're not going to be alone. Yeah. All right. The next team we go to is
Ooh, I like this team.
they're only in their second year of the Big 12, but they got their feet wet last year. We're talking about the Fighting Gus Malzahns of the University of Central Florida.
I like this team. I'm going to go over
You still like them even though Plumlee's no longer there?
John Rice and his piano. First quarter scoring last year, UCF scored 127 points. Opponents scored 57. They come out hot. Malzahn brings in his buddy from olden days. They both won a national title together. Ted Roof coached the defense. They won a national title at Auburn in 2010 or 11. They get KJ Jefferson in, who a lot of folks are kind of comparing him to Cam Newton, which I think, wait a minute, but you
He's
can
not Cam Newton.
but you can see that he's not as shifty as Plumlee, but I think he'll be just fine. He was, I think, it just annihilated last year at Arkansas. They get R.J. Harvey back, a top 10 rusher in the league, in the country. I don't know, 2 out of the 3 starting wide receivers are back. I don't know. I think bringing in Ted Roof he can turn over the defense. Ted Roof, he don't have to worry about it. Focus on offense. They got a lot of transfers in. I don't know. I like them. I like them to go over 7.5.
I love the addition of KJ Jefferson because Gus Malzahn took Nick Marshall at Auburn to the national championship game. Now, what could Nick Marshall do well? He could move, he could run, and he could throw the deep ball. KJ Jefferson is bigger than Nick Marshall, but he can run it with power, and he throws a great deep ball. He's not very good short to intermediate, but he throws a really good deep ball.
He's also hell. Like he
Yeah,
just
yeah, and he's
the
gonna play
dude's
hard. He
going.
never
He's
stops.
gonna win. He's gonna be in it the whole time.
Yeah, I love the addition here of KJ Jefferson. I like how Gus coaches up that offense, and he's got the guy that he wants now. Like I said, it's like Nick Marshall, but just 30 pounds heavier because Nick was a skinny little quarterback.
Ted Ruth coached at Oklahoma last year. They started the year well on defense. At the end of the year, they kind of trailed off, and they got some high scoring battles. I think that's why they moved on from him, knowing they were going to SEC. But I think he still can dial it up on that side of football, especially against the opponents. The UCF's going to play this year.
Yeah.
So.
They only the Utah and Arizona are the two they miss Oklahoma State.
Yep.
They miss Kansas State. They get Arizona at home. They get Utah at home. And the schedule sets up well for them. This is the one that you should go get for the Big 12 title game.
Yep.
The UCF Knights. That'll probably get you what, 10, 11, 12 to 1, if not more.
Yeah. You'll know if they can start off 3-0, they go to Florida. And that'll tell you everything you need to know about them.
Mhm.
Florida's not going to be no world beater, but that's in the swamp, and you'll see what they do. And it's a big game for Central Florida,
Yeah.
so that'd be fun.
Yeah, I like the Knights too. That's at 7.5. I don't know if I'd just run to bet the over under, but I think if you're wanting to bet the Knights, I say go get them to win the Big 12.
9-1.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes them. Even the books like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go get the Knights to win the Big 12. I think that's what I'd do there. At 7.5 though, I think you're pretty comfortable on the over.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to get there pretty easy.
Taking a look at that schedule a little more, I think I like them even better than my original thought with the Knights. So good luck to Gus Malzahn and not local but Mississippi kid KJ Jefferson. Good luck to KJ out there in Florida. All right, new member to the Big 12, the all-powerful Utah Utes. Did you say Ute?
Ute.
What's a Ute?
To what?
Did you
Like
say
lock,
two
lock,
Utes?
Click.
All right, Paul, what do we think about Whittingham and his Utah Utes?
I think he's great. Nice beard. They're gonna be good. I mean, 9.5 though is right where it should be. Last year, penalty wise, they had 65 penalties for 541 yards. The opponents had 92 for 694, which is yardage wise isn't much, but it seemed like a little home field cooking maybe for the Utah Utes. I don't know. Cam Rising, can he stay healthy? Same thing we got with these other teams. Don't know. I don't know, man. They're the favorite, and I don't like. We don't do that.
Mm-mm. Horse racing taught us that.
No, we don't. You don't bet the favorite. I mean, I'm looking at Southern Utah win, Baylor win, Utah State win, Oklahoma State. Who knows? Arizona, who knows? Depends on how healthy these teams are. Arizona State win, TCU win, Houston win, BYU win, Colorado win, Iowa State. Who knows?
That's
UCF, who
win.
knows?
Look, I don't. I give every home game to Utah. You just don't go into Rice Eccles and win.
Not with them flags flying like that. You don't.
I mean, you just and when Cam Rising has been the quarterback and been in the game, they don't lose. I mean, they're really, really good. Again, how healthy is he? He took off the whole year last year. I don't think that was he got injured in that bowl game that year.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's had a history of being hurt. So if he's healthy and ready to go, I love the Utah Utes, but I'm not betting. There's no money to be made, really, on betting the Utah Utes.
Yeah,
They got to go out there and win every damn game.
They brought in Dorian Singer too. I can't remember where he played at, but he's a good wide out.
So when you bet Utah, they're at home. Just take them to win.
Yeah. Yeah, it came from Arizona last year. Dorian Singer.
Dorian Singer.
Yep. Pretty good.
What did he leave Arizona for?
Probably because the coach left.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about it. I forgot about that. All right.
Where we at?
Surprise team last year in the Big 12. Trying to pull up their schedule, but the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Texas Tech East.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a perfect. I, I
Man,
think he nailed it.
7 is the win total. Open up against Penn State. Goodness gracious, I don't know. They gave him an extension last year after winning nine games. He was probably on the hot seat. Not, good backfield. Jaheim White. I have a stat on that kid. Hold on. 7.72 yards per carry by Jaheim White last season. The best among running backs with a minimum of 100 carries.
Wow. Okay.
So the guy can get it done.
He can run the rock.
I don't have enough to say either way here. I'm 6-6. I don't know.
Yeah, I got their over under 6.5.
They could drop. They could lose to Penn State and Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Because that's at Pitt. That's the backyard brawl.
Then they got to go across the country to play all these other teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their schedule is brutal. They probably have the worst schedule of all the Big 12 teams.
I don't think they get to 7.
So it's 6.5. Neil Brown literally snatched his job right out of defeat last year, being fired. And they had a big year, went 9-4. But I went back and looked at their 2023 schedule. They didn't beat anybody.
They could lose. Dude, they could lose 9 games.
Yeah, I'm betting the
under.
The only thing they got for going for them is that every team that comes to play them, it's a long travel. That's really all you can say. It's a tough place to go play, and so they'll kind of have the advantage there. I can see them having 1 win in their first 8 games.
Yeah,
Albany. That's the only game I'll give them. Look at that stretch: Pitt, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona.
Yeah,
I just don't know where the wins are, and it's what 6.5.
Yeah.
I'm comfortably on the under with the West Virginia Mountaineers and Neil Brown, either back on the hot seat or getting the axe this time.
Yeah, I don't. That's a tough schedule. I don't think you're not going to just line up and run it on Penn State. They're going to get the shit beat out of them.
And then when they go through that gauntlet and they start off, say they start off 2-5, you confident they're going to go to Cincinnati and win?
No.
Are they going to beat UCF at home?
No.
They're going to go back across the country and beat Texas Tech at Texas Tech?
No.
I'm with you. 3-9.
Yep.
4-8.
4-8 if they win when they shouldn't.
I think Garrett Green was the decent quarterback last year, but again, they didn't beat anybody worth a damn last year. That was a schedule win last year for them.
Do you have their schedule?
Which one? I'm looking right at it.
Where do they play Penn State at?
At home.
Is it at home or is it like a neutral field?
Let's take a look here. Let's go back.
Because even if it's at home, I still like Penn State. But if it's a neutral field, I really like Penn State.
August the 31st, 11 a.m. kick. Morgantown, West Virginia.
Get them at home. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Take me home, country road.
They are playing in Morgantown.
Okay.
Because I think they played at Penn State last year. This was a home-and-home type situation. Pretty sure last year they started. Let's just take the 20. This West Virginia thing kind of intrigues me just because 9-4 and they're only 6, and then now this year it's only 6.5. That should tell you everything you need because that schedule is tough. So here's the 2023 schedule. Let's just take a look at their wins. So they start off with Penn State. They lost, right?
Right.
All right. They beat Duquesne. They beat a bad Pittsburgh team, and that was at home. They beat Texas Tech at home. They beat TCU, who wasn't very good. So they started off 4-1. They lost to a terrible Houston team. They lost to OK State. They beat Central Florida and BYU. BYU's terrible. They beat a 3-9 Cincinnati team, and they beat a bad Baylor team. There's no good wins on that schedule.
No, I'm with you. I think the under is gonna. I don't think it's gonna get close to 7.
But Paul, they beat North Carolina in the bowl game. Did Drake May play that game?
Did
pretty
anybody
sure
play?
Nobody played for North Carolina in that game.
Uh,
Well, Paul, that wraps up the Big 12.
the Big 16.
So yeah, the Big 16. So any overall thoughts on the conference here? Who do you like really? And who do you feel is going to be in the? What's the two teams that are going to be playing for the championship?
I was on Kansas. I think I like the more I look at Iowa State, I like them. It's there's about 5 teams that are the same. Everybody keeps saying that Utah is. If you go by the power rating, it's Utah. Then you have about 5 teams and everybody else. I don't think Utah is that far ahead of a lot of these teams.
I don't either. I think the Big 16 is pretty wide open. I think any of the teams of Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Arizona, Central Florida, Iowa State could be in this thing. And Utah. I forgot about Utah.
If Avery Johnson is anything of what they're hyping him up to be,
K-State's going to be
they're
tough.
going to be awful to play.
Yeah, because their schedule is pretty easy. Complete opposite of what West Virginia has to go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ought to be a lot of fun. It ought to be fun betting that conference this year when those games come out. You got to watch who's at home, who's on the road, how they've been playing early. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So any last thoughts?
Yeah, I went out there and got me the Iowa State over this morning.
Yeah.
The UCF to win the conference. And then, of course, our beloved Rebels to win more than 9.5.
There you go. Already getting those tickets in. I'll be getting mine in probably next week or before week 0. I hadn't decided on who I think's going to win the my heart says just take the Jayhawks, and because we've been on that team, we had a lot of fun with them. But boy, that Central Florida schedule sets up pretty good after we just broke that thing down, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like Central Florida. If that guy can get that defense just to make a few stops, Malzahn and Jefferson, they'll score the points.
Yeah, I think there's 2 unders there that I really love. I think I'm going to probably get in the Big 12, a couple of unders, and maybe over on Central Florida.
Yeah, West Virginia under. Let's see.
It was Baylor and BYU maybe, or somebody else we really Colorado.
Colorado under, already bet that.
Who else did we talk
Colorado
about?
under, Cincinnati under. I got a note here that you're gonna love. Arizona State under. That's what I got. You know where Michael Trigg ended up?
Oh yeah, I heard his name the other day on a show. I forgot. Yeah,
He's down there at Baylor.
At Baylor, yeah. I knew it had something to do with the Big 12. I couldn't remember where he ended up. He'll be benched after the 3rd game for not going to
Probably
practice
not even
or
on
something.
campus now. But anyways.
Well, this has been great. It's been so glad. It's been so fun to be back, Paul.
All right.
What we'll hit another conference probably sometime next week. I have no idea on schedule because again we both have regular full-time day jobs, and so trying to get our schedules together. So when we know, you'll know. We'll let you know when we're going to put out our next show. But what conference we want to tackle next?
Well, how many is in the Big Ten now?
A lot. So we got the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten left. Which one of those 3 you want to hit?
Don't matter. You want to do the SEC? That way, if we don't get to the Big Ten, ain't nobody going to be hurt.
No, I mean, you just want to go right to the SEC next?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that. Next show, we'll break down the SEC, and we'll talk about win totals and what type of bets we want to make there with the SEC. So we'll see you next week.
All right.
Until then, cash your tickets.